Hemlock, Kent, Copenhagen. The train was on its way to Berlin, having left Wrocław, when I entered the compartment. A woman and a man were inside. More passengers had been there only a moment earlier, filling this compartment and all the others. Those who couldn't find seats had crowded into the corridor. All of them had left at Wrocław station, like the flock of pigeons. The woman and the man sat diagonally opposite each other. The seats beside them, where other passengers had been sitting only minutes ago, were now empty. They crossed their legs, perhaps doing so only now that the crowd had rushed out and left space for them. The man wore jeans, the woman bare legs. She was staring at her knees. The sliding door closed automatically. The man was reading a book, his elbow resting on the window frame.
"I wish that they could," said Simias. "But so far from that, I fear that tomorrow at this time, there may be no one left in the world able to do that properly."
His eyes traveled from left to right and paused at the margin of the even page. But the whites of his eyes flicked towards her legs, the brightest objects in the compartment. She looked at the cover of his book and thought,
"I once met a man on a train who read Plato in the same way. That man even looked like him."
and recrossed her legs naturally, relieving the pressure on her blood vessels. His eyes remained pinned to the page.
"For if the body is shriveled up and mummified like mummies in Egypt, it lasts almost whole, for an incredibly long time. And some portions of the body, even when it decays, bones and sinews and so forth, may almost be called immortal."
He noticed a faint yellowish shade on her thin legs. It reminded him of the skin of a corpse, waxy, earthy, certain. He wondered,
Is she Polish or German or someone else?
he could not tell, as he himself was neither, nor was he Greek. Her flesh, to him, looked like a body jettisoned near a forced labor camp barrack. Yet her hair was too voluminous for death.
"Tomorrow perhaps, Phaidon, you cut off this pretty hair." When
She thought,
did we pass the second tunnel? Is there a third one soon? The three would never be even. No, they ought to be even. We could not maintain that it is not destroyed, for the uneven is not imperishable. Since if that had been granted us, we could easily maintain that when the even approached. And this train will derail.
she thought. I remembered that the train would enter the third tunnel soon, and before long it did.
But to show that the soul is something strong and godlike and existed before we were born men. All this you say may be no more than to indicate not immortality, but that the soul is something long-lasting.
The window turned black and mirrored their shapes.
We won't get to Berlin. We will die together soon. Everything tells me so.
She thought. He thought.
This moment feels eternal. I've forgotten how many minutes and hours have passed, how many stations we have passed or will pass. The angle of sunlight has changed since morning, since Krakow. Now it is dark, yet it feels as though it will brighten again. But since, as things are, she appears to be immortal, there could be no escape from evil for her and no salvation, except that she could become as good and wise as possible. So, her truthful legs should shine in sunlight again. Those who have purified themselves enough by philosophy live without bodies altogether forever after, and come into dwellings even more beautiful than the others. We may have died already, but this darkness may last forever. But I don't believe in the mortality of souls. So if I'm still here, I'm not dead. But I will die soon, that is certain. With this unknown man, Simius and Kebes and all, hereafter, at some certain time shall each travel on that journey. But me, fate calls me now, as a man might say in a tragedy, and it is almost time for me to travel towards the bath. Oh, should I go to the loo and pee? Empty my body before dying? My blood will come out anyway, make a mess, and nobody will wash my corpse.
She looked at his face and wondered in what language she should speak to him. English would work, as his Plato was an English translation.
Then we will do our best about that,
he said.
But how are we to bury you?
Excuse me, mister, she said calmly. We won't arrive at the next station, in an accent slightly hinting her mother tongue. Sorry, why? Our train will derail soon, and we will die. What are you talking about? Now you know what I came to tell you, so farewell, and try to bear as well as you can what can't be helped. What can be helped?
Then he turned and was going out, with tears running down his cheeks. And Socrates looked up at him and said, Farewell to you also. I will do so.
I don't follow you. Sorry, man. Have you noticed we've been in the tunnel a bit longer than usual? Do you know why? Because we are close to death, and our brains are flooded with adrenaline. We feel time flowing slowly because we are thinking and speaking extremely fast. He was convinced, yet unable to accept it. The window showed him only their figures shaking in slow motion, through which he couldn't confirm reality. Time moved sluggishly. He admitted that time, the flow, was the only real thing.
I know of others who, having been told to drink the poison, have done it very late. They had dinner first, and a good one, and some enjoy the company of any they wanted. Please don't be in a hurry. There's time to spare. But what will we do with the seconds left? We cannot write a will to anybody who will live beyond us. Our brains are running fast, as if we lived years in a second. But that's infertile, as none of it can change reality. The darkness is paling. The end of the tunnel is approaching. Now it's not certain that we'll be back under the same sun. We may be entering a room where we will be handed a cup of poison. Since time is so slow now, we might already have drunk it. Or did we drink it at birth?
He said, I have expected this moment. It's sad to say goodbye to everything, but the time was bound to come for you sooner or later. He dropped his book. All he perceived dissolved into black water. The surface of sight simmered in dim white. Numbness crept into his heart. His legs and fingers were already numb. He tried to think of ways to flee the situation, then to refute its reality, then to alter its implications. He pondered.
If the immortal is also imperishable, it is impossible for the soul to be destroyed when death comes to it. But I cannot find any ways to believe I will continue without my body. Can I surrender my soul to the hard stop of reality? What lies to after reality? What is after life, if anything?
Life feels light when we know when we'll be gone, doesn't it? she said, knowing he didn't understand her. Her brain was full of words. None felt meaningful. She might as well have said,
For good luck in the migration from here to there. Then that is my prayer, and so may it be.
His brain, too, was filled with words, too heavy to let them out. They felt meaningful, though they were meaningless in fact, and thus seemed esoteric.
Nonsense to be esoteric. In my final moments, everything should have been clear.
I write for her and for him. They thought,
No matter how we think, speak, or understand, we change nothing. So why do we still try?
she thought this casually. He thought it desperately. He begged someone to remember him. He needed his Fido, but it could never be her. And he thought up my existence, as though I was standing by the compartment door, watching them both inside and outside.
But Plato was ill, I think.
As the grammar requires, I call myself I. I watched them heading towards their final moment. She kept crossing and uncrossing her legs until the train overturned. He learned, in his body, what finitude meant. I am asked to tell what happened from the beginning, so I open the story.
The train was on its way to Berlin, having left Wrocław, when I entered the compartment.
She did not find immortality in this recurrence of mine.